Thank you. Someone on? Okay. Welcome to the 2025 Trial by Combat Award Ceremony. First and foremost, I want to congratulate all of you. Being the 16 top competitors in the country out of the literally hundreds and hundreds of competitors that compete on the AMTA circuit nationally is an incredible honor. And I've been hearing all weekend that the rounds are incredible, you all are incredible, and that's not surprising. And you hear that all year, I'm sure, and it's not surprising for you to hear it, frankly. But I think what strikes me, particularly this weekend and every time that we host this tournament, is we've got really experienced judges who have been All-Americans and successful coaches and gone on to be really great law school competitors and great local trial lawyers who've seen lots of mock trial and lots of good mock trial. And when I get text messages and emails and phone calls from them all weekend telling me how amazing this tournament is and how amazing you all are in the rounds, that really does mean something to me. And so I hope all of you are proud of the way you competed this weekend. And we're certainly blown away by the competition that we saw. I want to just thank a couple of people before we get into the results. First and foremost, I want to thank our judges. We had at least 5 judges in every round, and as I said a second ago, we had lots of Drexel Trial Team alums, we had local trial lawyers, we had lots of AMTA alums, we had people who literally competed in this tournament and came from other parts of the country to come judge. And we're really grateful for everybody's time who came to judge this weekend. The tournament literally could not happen without all of our judges. And so for those of you who are here, I see a bunch of you, why don't we give our judges a hand? I want to thank a handful of our tournament volunteers. I'm sure all of you noticed Justin and I running around all weekend, but truthfully, Justin and I could not do this alone. And there were a handful of Drexel Kline competitors who, in addition to judging the trials, were behind the scenes, making sure the catering was done, making sure that the rounds were starting on time, making sure that people were being extracted from the elevators if need be. And so I'm really grateful, and I want to just recognize them by name. Pat McGlynn and Brian Walker are standing right here, so I want to thank them. Shanley Sylvie, who's our co-president. Sam DiGiuseppe, who is our associate trial competition director. Marissa Kuka, who I don't think is here, but she is our other co-president. She was incredible this weekend, so let's thank her. And last, Jess Lorenzo, who is a rising 3L and former collegiate competitor who was here judging this weekend, taking photos. We're going to get those uploaded, and hopefully you guys are going to have lots of great photos of you competing this weekend. So let's thank Jess. Last and certainly not least, I want to thank our co-host for this tournament, UCLA, and Justin Bernstein, the director of trial advocacy at UCLA. Justin isn't going to brag about himself and his program, so if you'll indulge me for just a few seconds, I want to brag about Justin. Justin's trial team has been #1 in the country in the law school equivalent of TPR 6 years in a row. And you can imagine how incredible of an accomplishment that is on the collegiate circuit. It's even more of an incredible accomplishment on the law school circuit. But aside from what Justin and his students are doing in the competition setting, more impressive than that is what they're doing in the classroom. I'll give you one really important fact that sort of highlights that. Every year, UCLA gives out a Distinguished Teacher Award that's given not only to the people at the law school, but to the excellent faculty members across the entire university. And Justin got that award a couple of years ago. And so he's an incredible coach and an incredible professor. And I'm really grateful for your help, Justin. So let's give him a round of applause. As many of you know, Justin started this tournament back in 2018 when he was the assistant director of trial advocacy here at the law school, and we've been partnering on this competition since 2019. And I don't think we could possibly have a better co-host, because I don't think there are two schools in the country that are as uniquely dedicated to trial advocacy as Drexel and UCLA are. Just this past cycle, Drexel and UCLA are the only two schools in the country that have a scholarship that is specifically for AMTA competitors to come to our law schools to compete on our trial advocacy teams and to work within our trial advocacy programs. And just this past year, UCLA and Drexel gave out more than 50 scholarships, literally millions of dollars, to AMTA competitors to come to our school. And we're really grateful for the continued support of our universities and our law schools, and for our partnership with Justin. And so we're really grateful, Justin. How about one more for Justin? I also want to highlight not just the amount of scholarships that we offer, but who's getting them. And we're really happy to have people who've sat in this audience in years past, people who've been All-Americans and competed at this event, whose schools are at nationals year in and year out. But we also have lots of people in our schools who earn these scholarships who aren't in these seats necessarily as college competitors, who've never been to nationals, who don't qualify for trial by combat. And that's because at our law schools, we're not only looking for stars, but for people who will be stars in the future when they come to our law schools. And so anyone that's watching, we'd encourage you to apply next cycle. And we're really grateful for the support of our universities. Last, I want to introduce our Dean Dan Filler, who's going to give some remarks in a second. And I want to just talk to you about Dean Filler before I turn the mic over to him. And at the risk of saying this in front of my now boss, I believe sincerely that we've got the best dean in the country. And that's because Dean Filler gives endless support to our trial advocacy programs. I can think of lots of requests that I've made to the dean over the years for things that I've wanted to do: more scholarship money, more tournaments, more resources for our program. And every single time that I've approached Dean Filler about that, I've got a resounding yes. And it's not only because Dean Filler cares about the law school, but he cares about trial advocacy. Dean Filler was a trial lawyer. He was a public defender before he became one of the founding faculty at Drexel Kline. We're really lucky to have him and have his support for our program. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Dean Filler.
Thank you. Thank you to Phil and to Justin and to all the folks who've been supporting this, to the judges, to the coaches, and to all of you who are here competing or supporting those who are. I'm just excited that we are able to sponsor and to host this event, because we think that the work you're doing and the fun that you're having doing this work really matters deeply to our society. So one of the really cool and interesting things about mock trial is that you're learning a skill and you're competing and you're having a tremendous amount of fun doing it and really getting the energy, but also you're learning skills in storytelling that will serve you and society for years to come. You're learning skills about taking pieces of the world and weaving them into narratives. And this matters in no small part because law matters, because trials matter, because the regularity of the jury system is one of the things we lean on to be a democracy. So when you're in this building, a building we're very proud of, take a look at it, among other things, as a piece of history and longevity. It's been over 100 years sitting on this corner, a strong symbol built as a bank, now as a law school, a symbol of solidity, a symbol that tomorrow will come and you can rely on that. And I deeply believe that what all of you are doing is part of how we guarantee tomorrow will come and we can rely on that. I love what all of you do. I hope you'll keep doing it if you go to law school, or if you don't, that you'll use each and every skill that you've developed. I'm excited for what's going on here today. But honestly, multiply that by every person in here. That's how excited I am about what's happening here, about your engagement in trial advocacy, and about you being present here with us for Top Gun. Welcome to Drexel's Kline School of Law. Thank you.
Should we do results? All right, we want to start with some awards that are sort of outside of our regular placement. We added some questions to the ballot this year at the end. We told the judges this doesn't affect the outcome of the competition. We wanted to get some data on who they thought was right on the merits. So after they ranked people, they put the check marks next to each competitor's name. We said, how would you fill out the verdict form if this was an actual jury verdict form? And then we took that information and connected to the competitors. We saw which advocates actually got the best results. We took your average plaintiff verdicts plus your average defense verdicts and saw who got the most liability against their opponents. So we have an award. We asked this person to stand and be recognized. We have an award for the most persuasive advocate at the competition. So we're excited to tell you that the person who was most persuasive to our jurors, Cole Alfonso from UCLA. Here's Cole. Congratulations. I want to recognize our top two witnesses, combining your points as the plaintiff role and the defense role. Our second highest scoring witness for the weekend, from Brown, Anaya Nelson. And our number one witness, by a lot, with a lead larger from first to second as compared to second to eighth, from Northwestern, Rand Meyer. All right, we turn to our top competitors. We have awards for the top half of the field, the top 8. We go by the percentage of ballots won in your rounds. Normally we wouldn't need any tiebreakers because there were no ties 5th through 8th. But I did promise at opening ceremony that if anybody got a video of Will Warahay walking with his feet at a 45-degree angle, that would be considered for tiebreakers. That video was obtained and it is now in your folder. So thank you, Mr. Sikander, for getting that for us. That really is in your folder. You can see. Yeah. It ended up not, and it didn't break any ties, but I'm really glad it was there. In 8th place, from UMBC, Fadal Adeda. In 7th place, from Yale, Everett Parker Noblet. In 6th place, I had a chance to see this advocate compete. Just incredible. From Brown, Anaya Nelson. And in 5th place, who finishes with one of the best results combined over multiple years in the history of our competition, from Ohio State, Jonathan Hubbard. That represents 2 top 5 finishes for Mr. Hubbard. Very impressive. Last year, 4th. All right, our semifinals were fantastic, and they were close. I feel like I say this every year, but both of them came down to 1 ballot. Both of them came down to 1 check mark. We had 7 ballots downstairs. We had 9 ballots in this room. It was 4-3 and 5-4.
In fourth place, please come up and receive an award and give this person your congratulations. From Rutgers, Jonathan Shanahan. And in third place, from Chicago, Emberlyn St. Hilaire. I'm going to ask our two finalists to come up in a moment, and Phil's going to talk you through the sides and the rules for the finals and be a couple adjustments to the case. We welcome two finalists from schools who've never been in the finals here, who've never been at this tournament before. From University of Toronto, Rory Bonfalvey. Congratulations. And from Hillsdale, Patrick McDonald. Before I turn over the microphone, I need to give you one update. You've been hearing his name is Phil Pasquarello. Well, I'm excited to tell you that after practicing as a lawyer here in Philadelphia, who within 7 years of starting his practice has earned his client more than $100 million in verdict and settlements, is now going full-time at Drexel. He is, to my knowledge, the youngest full-time director of trial advocacy at any top 10 trial ed law school that I've ever heard of. So please give a round of applause to Professor Pasquarello.
Let's change this case a little bit. What do you think? All right, so here are the rules. I will not repeat them. No more motion to dismiss. That's out. It's been denied. Each side is going to call two witnesses. The plaintiff is going to call Davidson and Debneth. And now the Debneth report is not pre-admitted anymore, obviously. The defense is going to call Edwards and Jones live. And then in addition to that, you're going to get 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes to put your case on. So you get an additional 10 minutes for that additional direct and cross. So the way that this is going to go is the higher seat Patrick, you're going to choose your side. So I'll give you a second to think. And then we're going to have a witness draft. Rory, you're going to pick first, then Patrick, so on and so forth. So when it's your turn to pick your witness, announce who you're going to pick and who they're going to play. Okay? You ready to pick, Patrick? Okay. Can you please pick? Plaintiff. All right. So that means, Patrick, you're here, or you're going to go here. Now. All right. Or you pick first. Who's it going to be? Patrick? Sure. All right, Rory, who's your Jones going to be? Could be anybody. You can brainstorm for a second. Yeah, sure. This is great TV. right. Patrick, who is going to play your Davidson? You sure can. All right, one more thing. So, what do you want to start around, Justin? How about three? Three sounds great. So we're going to start at 3. So you can use the next 40 minutes to do whatever you want. I guess ideally prep. But the only caveat to that is once you start prepping your witnesses to testify, you cannot talk to your coaches anymore. Okay? So do whatever you want for the next 40 minutes, but once you talk to either witness to start prepping them, you can't speak to your coaches after that. Any questions? And then I have copies of the pretrial order. We'll see you all at 3.